friends. This is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average babes come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A place where being yourself is the ultimate goal, where your opinion, your story, and your individual experience matters. Join me, your host B, and my guests for real and raw talks every week, laying it all out there so we can all help each other learn more, grow deeper, and evolve collectively. Now keep in mind, as a disclaimer, no one here is an expert and no one is giving any advice. This is strictly our opinions, thoughts, feelings, and for entertainment purposes only. Now with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome everyone, welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. I hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I'm the host of the show, and today you guys are on episode 232, season 10 opener. What is happening, you guys? I cannot believe it. I am entering season 10. I am absolutely shook. I am shook that we're on 232. I cannot believe I've committed this long to this. At this point, I think I'm just stubborn. I feel like I have to just at least complete the 10 seasons. Like I've always said, I was going to go to 10, reevaluate, see what I feel like. So here we are on the final season. Oh my goodness. So before we get started and jump into this quick little episode I have for you today, I just want to remind you, if you are listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to follow, turn on notifications, and if you can, leave me a review or comment on the episodes. That helps me so much. I see your comment right away. It's been really rewarding actually seeing people's comments on Spotify. As podcasters, we don't get to see as much as other content creators because there wasn't always a platform, and now Spotify has opened that up for people to comment. So definitely leave me comments on the episodes and let me know what you think. And also, if you're listening on Rumble, you can subscribe, turn on notifications, and of course you can comment over there. And if you are looking for me on social media this year, you're going to be able to find me on TikTok and Instagram at the Be Real Babe or the Be Real Babe podcast. And finally, if you want to be an episode, because I do have about 10 spots left, you guys, for this season, so make sure you email me at theberealbabe@hotmail.com, or you can reach out to me on social media as well, because I absolutely love having new guests. I love having new people on and hearing your stories and learning more, and just love watching the ripple effect of people coming on the show and what that does for them and for the community and all the new people it brings as well. So very, very blessed and very excited for season 10. So I said all the things I have to say. Again, thank you guys so much if you've been here for 1 episode, 10 episodes from the beginning. I just thank you guys so much. It means so much. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, because as we're rolling into this episode, we're getting to about 19,000, about 300 plays. So very close to hitting that 20,000 on Spotify and Apple, which is absolutely blows my mind. And actually YouTube has gone over 27, but those have shorts. So those are a little bit different for short form content, but it just absolutely still blows my mind, you guys, that you listen to any of my the podcast or the show, and just thank you guys so much. So what does season 10 look like? Well, right now I've geared up. I've already done a couple guest episodes for the first month, trying to get ahead of it, and you guys, such super powerful episodes for the first month of September. As you're listening to this, it should be September 6th or 5th, if you were listening on launch day, and we are getting started. And then the week after that, the YouTube channel will be coming back. If you don't know, or if you know, this is a repeat. On YouTube, I have moved all of the not just British Columbia, but Canadian politics, what's happening in Canada, keeping up with Canada is over on the YouTube channel now at the Be Real Babe Show, as well as Internet Insanity, where weekly I bring you stories that I have found on the internet that is either TikTok drama or crime or cases, with the whole Diddy case last season, just all that stuff that maybe you just don't know in pop culture that's going on, or shit that I just find fucking crazy, like crazy lawsuits or cases or crime that I just find super interesting, that just kind of distracts you from the world that we're in today. So that is going to continue after we launch here in season 10 on the podcast. The following week on the Monday, we'll be keeping up with Canada, and then Internet Insanity will be Wednesdays on the YouTube channel. So make sure to go follow over there, because I'm going to be giving you weekly internet news and weekly Canadian drama as well. So if you want to keep up and want more episodes, make sure to head over there. I do, at the end of the season, upload the podcast up to YouTube. So you can, if you're more of a YouTuber and you want to wait to listen to the podcast over there, obviously not if you're listening here, but there is that option all of season season 9 is now uploaded to YouTube. If you want to watch over there, that would be awesome. And if not, let's keep going here. So what's going to happen to the podcast? Like I said, we've got the YouTube channel and the podcast this season. It's going to be the same thing that you had last season, guys, and what you expect to be amazing interviews, powerful conversations, real talk, messy, chaotic technology problems, everything you've hopefully come to love about this show. Just absolute amazing people, whether they are return guests. At the beginning, we do have a lot of new guests, new stories coming back on the show, maybe some repeat themes, and we do have your favorite guests coming back this season as well. I'm just super excited, you guys. I just feel so blessed to do this. I actually found a clip, and I should maybe post it on the Instagram page, but it's of me when I was doing journalism when I was in grade 6, and just what I had published in the paper, and it was about social pressures and all that kind of stuff, and how to kind of be authentic to yourself and just make sure that you're doing healthy things. And I think it was about eating disorders and anorexia, and I don't know, just kind of made me feel really aligned this summer. I did have a nice, actually let's get into that. Had a nice little break. It was wonderful. I love absolutely podcasting. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite hobbies. I felt very alone in what to do. I do love the planning of it and talking. I just don't like content creating that much. It's not my absolute favorite thing to do. It's a very time consuming, and I love connecting with everyone on social media. However, it does feel like a lot, but you want to give every episode the same love and attention that you have given all the past. So I do always want to make sure that I'm taking a moment to share and advertise the episode, because I do very much value the time that guests have come on, listeners, and I do know that's a great way to share the content and get people coming to the show. It's not your girl's forte. I am not, I'm artistic in other ways, and YouTube reels and all those kind of things and shorts are not my best. So we're trying this season. I have booked myself in for some tutorials and classes and courses around editing, around videography, all that kind of stuff, so I can get better. I've tried to, as you'll see in the following episodes, I'm trying to use my better camera, and of course it kicked out a couple times, as it seems to do for me, but I didn't lose it. I just have a different camera, so you'll see a couple different angles for me, and hopefully I can learn to do that on purpose instead of by accident. But yeah, this summer I really was going to dive into courses, and I just decided being present was far more important. I very much felt burnt out last season, and to avoid that, I needed to make sure that I took a proper break. So although I wanted to come back with all these dope new skills, I definitely also was like, girl, take the 6 weeks off to just breathe and enjoy life and catch up with yourself and your home and your family and friends. And that is exactly what I did. So I feel really good about that. I did change some things, move the sign around. I noticed when it was over my head, it kept giving me this like gray look. Not that it matters, not that I don't love the gray girlies. I think that is amazing, like beautiful, but I'm not there yet. So make sure to move that over here where you can still see the sign. I've got a couple new editing tricks up my sleeve. Hopefully I got the lighting a little bit better, hopefully a better camera. So just try new things, guys. I really appreciate those that have been around and understanding and going through that. I am not perfect, and I'm just being real. I am not a tech girl, and I'm learning slowly, but when you sit all day in Excel, sometimes it's exhausting to sit on your computer at nighttime too. And I'm sure the corporate girlies that do content creating or podcasting or YouTube or any of that kind of stuff, anything that involves your camera and your computer, photography, any of that, after you're just kind of like, I don't want to look at a computer after you've been working at one all day, right? So that's sometimes where I get, but I've actually learned so much in the small amount of time taking this course already. And Riverside has also done such a good job at getting better as well too. It's just learning through the little bumps in the road. And of course, when you learn something new, there's new problems as well, right? So we're making it. But like I said, I got a couple interviews already done, stellar, amazing episodes, got a couple more booked this coming week, and I'm just getting right back into it, which is super exciting. Every season I feel super blessed that I just feel, not that the conversations are getting better, the guests are getting better, just feel more confident in what we're doing here and that we are making a difference. And every single time I have a repeat guest on and I get to catch up with them and see how they're doing and seeing them thriving and them making a difference with their story, it really validates, you know. And I'm not going to lie, some of the news stuff and the political stuff from back in a couple seasons ago when we were like, I was really political on the podcast, not so much on the show. There's been a lot of validation this last little bit. So it's just been really cool to see the growth and just see my change as a person, as a podcaster, as a creator, as all of those things as I try to get better. And I do try to learn to shut the fuck up, guys. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I know that was past criticism and valid, but I struggle. So yeah, so season 10, like I said, guys, the YouTube channel is going to be Keeping Up with Canada on Mondays, starting here on September 8th on the Monday. So we'll have that on the YouTube channel. So the Be Real Babe Show, make sure to go find that. Tagging that as many times as I can to get you all over there as well. And then we're going to be doing Internet Insanities on the Wednesdays, which will be, so that'll start on the September 10th. So that will be happening every Monday and Wednesday while the podcast season is going on. It's going to just be me in a different setting, and we're just going to get cozy. We're going to talk about the tea, what's happening in Canada. If you have important stories for either, please send them, like I said, to the podcast page or the TikTok page, or even email it to me, text it to me if you have my number. I'm more than happy to share your concerns as well as Canadians. If you want to write into me of what your concerns are to get other people's opinions. You know, I know a lot of people are afraid to speak out about things, and I'm more than happy to do that for you. If you need to be the avenue, you can send it to me anonymously. I'm more than welcome to share, maybe just, you know, share from where the world you are. But yeah, reach out to me again at the BeRealBabe@hotmail.com, or like I said, on TikTok or Instagram. I would love to share concerns for Canada. And two, if you have a fun internet story or drama you want me to cover, obviously, please let me know. I don't even know where to start this season, but we're just going to start this weekend, and we're just going to roll from there. I don't know where I'm going to catch up. There's so much I missed in the 2 months off I've been on YouTube. And then as usual, the podcast will be on Fridays. If you're watching this live, it will be September 5th. And then every Friday for the next 5 months, ending in the season at the end of January, taking a break in February. And then we'll make the decision, do I carry on with all of this, or do I cap it at 10 and call it complete? You know, Friends ended at 10 seasons, and I just wonder, is that the right number? Is 10 the right number? We don't know, but let's go through the season and find out, and I'll make that decision. That sounds like a future Brandy, a 2026 Brandy problem. But I also wanted to review the last season, because season 9, again, not saying that was better than, I just feel like I'm just so excited to have these new conversations to deepen my understanding of informed consent and helping others share their experiences, and hoping help them heal just a little bit, even if it's just to get their story out and feel heard at the very minimum. And my favorite is when people connect. So what did we see in season 9? So at the very beginning, obviously, episode 211 is a season 9 opener, where I just talk about the break, what was coming up for the season, the changes I had. It was a kind of big change, because I went from going in season 8 talking about Keeping Up with Canada, Internet Insanity on the podcast, but I felt like I wasn't able to get enough interviews. I always felt like 2 wasn't enough, and I wasn't able to connect to people as much. So I thought, oh, fuck it, let's just put it on YouTube, because I feel like the podcast, I always get censored on YouTube for the things that we talk about. And I just wanted more conversation. I feel the podcast started with real conversations and experiences and all that, and it kind of moved political and into all the internet and conspiracies. And although I still love that, I really want to remain to the core of what the whole podcast started, was being real, be authentic, and learning about those things. So yeah, so episode 211, season 9, opening day. You can go back to that one if you want to see where I was at that time. But a really good one to start with is episode 212. My girlfriends Bree and Darian come on together, and we talk about female friendships and what throughout our lives, what that looks like when we're in elementary school and junior high and high school, and adult friendships, and, you know, all the things that we've learned, boundaries and things that we love that we did, that we hate that we did, that we see now in our adult friendships, and all those kind of things, and all of our phases and seasons in life, and the wins and losses. There's a very beautiful conversations with the girlies that, as you guys know, as I've been talking about, have launched the Be Real Collective. Guys, make sure to go find us on TikTok and Instagram there as well. We do have merch. Merch is coming out that does say Be Real. So if you want to be a part of the Be Real Collective or Be Real Babe and show the podcast, go ahead and let me know and send me a message. Right now, we're just kind of in the R&D phase where we're ordering merch and trying to figure it out. By 2026, there'll be ones where you'll be able to just go to an online store and purchase. But if you want to be a part of the R&D and see what that's like, make sure to DM me. I'm more than happy to get you involved in that, and you'll see merch throughout the season as well as I wear it. And then we had Christopher from the Open Minds podcast back in 213, as we always talk about everything that from all walks of life, from dating to the political sphere to what's going on in Canada to, you know, immigration, all those types of things. Me and Christopher absolutely have the same idea of having open conversations, being real, and just laying it all out there. And you know, we've had a really fun friendship the last couple of years, keeping up from opposite sides of the country, from opposite colors and opposite genders, but having one common goal of just helping Canadians break the anger and the vitriol and just try to come together to have honest conversation and open dialogue. And so we definitely get to do that every time we're together. So make sure to go check out 213 and follow Christopher for the Open Minds podcast. He's awesome, and he's doing a lot of things that I'm even actually a little too scared to do. So I'm actually, I've told him he's got his balls this season for him and his ball season. So that's great. That sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. And then in 214, we start the Botox injury series. So for this season, we had 5 different amazing women come on and share their experience with Botox injury. As you guys know, I've had Gretch on the show before. Episode 49 was the first time we talked about the dangers of Botox with Gretch from Never Talks, back when it was just audio. And then I had herself and Terry Fox come back on the show and as well on video and talk about the dangers of Botox again, but on video and a bigger scale there. And then this season we were able to get some amazing women. I keep saying me and the cats were able to get some amazing women on the show. So we started with Botox injury number 1, with Amanda, and went through her episode and her story of being someone that did Botox for over a decade, never had problems, and then again, like we've heard girls say on the show, until you have a problem and then it just turns your life upside down. And she's been very blessed to now at current time been on the way out of her illness, but there was parts in touch and go there at the beginning. Her story is the number 1 episode right now actually on the podcast, so amazing job, Amanda. Amazing, total amazing. How many times am I going to say amazing? I'm just so blown away by these women's strength, especially with all the trolls that come out there, but yet they're not backing down because it is their story and their experience. So Amanda was number 1, and then we had the beautiful Stephanie join us in the second one in the Botox injury part 2. I jump all the way over to Arizona, and we have the beautiful, amazing Stephanie on the show, and she was just so new to her injury. Another girly that had been doing Botox for some time, nothing that she'd ever said. She'd even worked in the area, in the industry, and never had a fucking clue that any of this could happen, and currently now is also still going through her healing, but she is still actively going through recovery and trying to get better over a year's time now for her going through this shit. And this is again why I speak out about this, because anybody can be harmed by this, whether you do it a bunch of times or you do it, once or twice. It can happen. I'm not saying everybody does, so please be mindful that I'm not saying that everybody does, but there is a lot of women that do, and then they don't know, and they're gaslit, and they're hurt, and they don't know where to go. And that's why I think it's so important, because a lot of women like Stephanie and Amanda, all the girls, they rely on the community to help each other, right? So without speaking out, without talking, without Never Talks and the Dysport Botox injury group, there'd be a lot more lost and probably very confused. So episode 215 is part 2 with Stephanie, another girly with Botox injury. And then we go over to episode 216 is the part 3, and that is with Laura from the UK. So another situation, except for Laura wasn't someone that did it all the time. She just did it one time, and absolutely, again, life completely taken by this injury, flipped the fuck upside down, and gaslit across the board. And again, finding community, finding time. She's been able to heal, and she's coming out of that. But again, still walking on eggshells, and obviously all these other things start happening, like mistrust of, your body and what's going to happen. And even though you're covered, can something happen where, you're bounced back and you're right from square one? Like, this is something these women now have to worry about for quite some time until they fully feel healed. So another part 3 was 216 with Laura in the UK. Highly suggest you guys listen to this Botox series. We paused for a little bit, but don't worry, more's coming in the rest of the season. Then I move over and I have Jamie on, and she's from Ontario, someone that I met on TikTok. I love talking to her because we both talked about, like, in the pandemic era, we probably wouldn't have been as close of friends as we are now. Not that we would have mean each other, but we were totally opposite. And so during the pandemic, she was working in the schools, and she did get the vaccine, and she did get injured from that. And we go through what she went through, not only physically, but mentally, and just the whole pandemic, being someone in such a high restricted area, locked down, isolated, forced, and what she had to go through with her grandma and all those things. It was a really beautiful, honest, raw conversation. I'm very excited you guys will be seeing her again this season, so I'm very excited to have her back. But in this specific episode, we talk about the COVID vaccine in 217, and as you know, guys, how beautiful is this? I have no tags on it, I have no restrictions. I did not get in trouble on Apple or Spotify for posting our opinions about what Jamie went through, but let me tell you, I immediately got in trouble just for uploading the reel on YouTube. So just to show where we are in certain platforms. And of course, Rumble did nothing. So again, another really good episode. I don't want to fear people. I just want people to know this is what others went through. So, if we ever go through this again, you understand the dangers of pushing every single person to fit one medicine is just my point, okay? And then we have one of my best friends, longest time Ducky, episode 218, We Be Real About Grief. Now, if you guys don't know Courtney, sorry. I just realized I said Ducky, not Courtney. So Courtney has been on the show since day one. She has been on, I think this might have been like her 7th episode. She's talked to us about so many different things like mental health that she's struggled with and overcome. We've talked to her about miscarriage. We've talked about single parenting. We've talked about loads of things, and she has been one of my friends for over a decade. And very unfortunately, she lost her husband a couple years ago in an accident right up in Grand Prairie where we're living, where they're currently living. And we talk about her process of going through grieving, losing her husband, and what that was like, and just advice for anybody that maybe know someone that's grieving, is grieving themselves, and just how she is navigating such a big thing to happen in their very early on in their marriage. I was very blessed to capture their family photos, from when they met to when they had their son to when they got married, and I just feel super blessed and honored to have been a part of Pete and Courtney's life for when he was here, and super, super honored that she came on the show and shared this, because I agree not enough people talk about it, because, it's uncomfortable, because you always feel like you're coming up short when you support people that are grieving, but ignoring them is not the way either, right? So beautiful conversation again, guys. 218. I highly suggest going to listen. Then we can carry on to my babe Hales. She comes back on the show, my OG host Hales, and we talk about the fentanyl crisis. We've talked about that quite a few times here on the show, whether that be on the Bira Bib show or at the podcast in the past. Specifically, me and Hales have talked about this quite a bit, and we're just catching up that, hey, all the shit that they're doing, not making it better. We're trying to be positive. We're trying to understand, but we're just not understanding anymore. It's just not making sense anymore. And so we go over a bunch of different stats and our feelings on the current fentanyl crisis, especially with the Trump coming in and the border wars and all that kind of stuff. So next, then we go to episode 220, Being Real About Holistic Business. So I have Lacey and Sophia on the show. And if you guys haven't watched this episode, I highly, highly recommend. This is probably the season's 2nd most listened episode, because these girls got completely screwed over just trying to be amazing girlies, amazing nurses, trying to help, trying to break out and do their own thing and create their own business and help the world. And unfortunately, they ran into a scammer that fled the country and left them with a ton of unpaid invoices and completely just wrecked, physically, mentally, and spiritually after this, and didn't take any accountability, and is still running on social media as if nothing happened. So highly suggest listening and going to follow the girls as well to support them at their current endeavors. Obviously, they're trying to rise from the ashes, which they are doing. However, this was fucked, and people still need to hear what happened so that you're more informed when you try to jump out, especially maybe in Alberta and small business, and see how you can be wrecked if someone decides to act a fool. The next episode, we have Girl Dinner on. So episode 221, we have the girls from Girl Dinner on. So Sam and Amber, they have their own podcast on Spotify as well. I believe it's every Wednesday that they release their little episodes. They're big episodes, but more bite-sized than mine, not like hour and a half, 2-hour deep dives. They're perfect for your week. I absolutely love them. They have the greatest dark humor. They're just super honest and real, and that's why I had to have them on the show. And of course, this episode was no different, just learning about them and how they came to podcasting, and how much I love collaborating with other podcasters in Canada and just hearing what their stories are and how they got started. So this was a beautiful one because when I have time, they're definitely a show I escape to just to get a little giggle, and I just love their vibes and how they bounce off each other. So episode 221, and then episode 222 is just me. It's one of the only solo episodes, but I wanted to talk about all the body movements. So the body positivity, skinny talk, fat acceptance, body acceptance, all those things. I think there's a lot of commonality in a lot of them, and I think there's a lot of red flags and green flags on all these different movements, and I just go through them, obviously having my own tunnel vision and lens, because I obviously come at it from a different view than some people, but I hope we can be honest and open about these conversations and listen, because I'm just being real from my experience, and I understand that. And I'm more than happy to welcome anybody that wants to come on to talk about their experiences about any part of these body movements and whatever body size that they are. I did have Lady Starsen on past, I think season 7 she was on, 7 or 8, maybe it was 8. I can't remember, you guys. Sorry, this is getting to be so much. I'm starting to lose my seasons here. So I believe it's 7, or I can't remember. But she came on and she talked about the fat positivity movement and how that affected her and actually put her on a trajectory to feel worse, and how she's corrected courses, right? So I'm always down to have these conversations. So 222 is all about body movement. And then 223, I have my mama on and we talk about her fibromyalgia diagnosis, when she got diagnosed, what it was like for me to grow up with a mom with an invisible illness, what it's like now, the misunderstandings, and, you know, as we grew up, and what that meant for me, for her, how, you know, I misunderstood stuff when I was younger. And as I got older, I became more compassionate, and, you know, how on both ends advice to live with someone that has invisible illness, and what they feel like as well from a real, honest, raw point of view, which I absolutely love. And I love having my mom on the show. So that's episode 223. She's my biggest fan, obviously. So I love to have my biggest fan on the show. And then episode 224, we return back and we talk about Botox in illness again. And then we're going back with this episode with Kaylee. She is also very close to her injury time when she came on the show, and now it's been a couple months and girlie's still going through it. She's still healing, she's still recovering, and it's just, you know, it breaks my heart to see these women go through this and, you know, get on a little bit of a good curve, and then all of a sudden it's off to another one. And it's just, why are we administering this stuff, and this is wrecking people's lives? Why are we ignoring them, gaslighting them, and not supporting them? My heart goes out to all these women, and I don't fucking care what other people say. I will always spread their experience, because I know that we are helping people understand what's going on and getting more informed consent than you would be getting in your injector. And I'm fine with that. And I can be hated on and people could say I'm, you know, jealous and all that. But no, I just really care for people like this that are going through it, that are hurting, that their lives are put on complete fucking hold with no answers, and they're hurting. And I'm not here for women hurting. So call it what it is, but that's what it is for me, babes. And then we go into episode 225, the final Botox, part of the series, number 5, with Angela, who I was very blessed to know at the very beginning of her injury, because she was sharing it live with Never Talks and Gretch, and being very vocal, and she shared everything with us in the episode. I actually share a clip of what she went through, all the hospital visits, all that stuff. And Angela as well was one of those that, you know, just did it, didn't have any idea, and all of a sudden, again, world upside down. And she has come on the other side and is definitely on her recovery, you know, but it's still, there's times where they have to worry. Their lives have completely changed, where they have to change and check their environments. They have to be aware of what they're eating on an extra level. What medicines are they going to have that are going to react? Is this messing with their hormones? Like, their lives literally change, even if they're starting to recover and that starting to move out of their physical ailments. There's so much more, like mental and spiritual and all that, and changing your lives that they have to go through as well. So I highly, again, watch all 5 parts of the series, because there's a lot of things that are common and there's a lot of things that are different. I think it's important for everyone to listen to get a whole view. It's not just backyard people. It's not just who injects it. It's not just where it's injected. Like, it literally could be the quote unquote safest things, most organic things, least amount, first time, best injector. It's just kind of like cancer. It doesn't really matter. It could happen to anybody at any time, and you just need to be aware so you know the proper steps and what to do, right? That's all I want. Do whatever the fuck you want, but do it informed. 226, we switch up gears and we have Torva back to catch up, as well as her health journey. If you've been around here for a while, Torva is another guest that we've had on several times that we love to have on the show. We catch up on her journey moving down to Texas and getting healthcare down there for her cancer, being in remission and trying to keep it in remission, and what that's like down there. And then we also talk about this whole Canada versus US thing, because we're both cheerleaders for both countries. We love both of them. We see the benefits and the downfalls to both sides. We talk about that, what it was like growing up working in Canada versus the States, growing up and different things, and just currently in the time now and how things have changed. So one of my favorite episodes, because I got to learn so much more about Torva and what it's like to grow up in the States, and then I got to share a little bit more about what it was like growing up here in Canada. So that was episode 226. And then 227, I have my babe Holly G back on the show, another guest episode. And this one was a little bit obviously heavier, because we were talking about what it's like to lose a parent. So unfortunately, just like Courtney did, Holly lost her father not that long ago. And Lauren wasn't just a dad, he was like the biggest cheerleader, a wonderful angel. He was just such a big light to anybody around him, and it was obviously a huge loss for his daughters and his family and everyone around him. And Holly always being on the show again, if you go back, I think this is like her 9th episode. She has been so raw and real with us, so I was just very blessed and honored that she was going to come talk to me. I had the blessing of knowing Lauren and getting to know him and having his support and love, and so I really wanted to take the moment to honor him through an episode and show the beauty of Holly and her healing and how she takes her pain and turns it into power to heal other people and all those things. And so it was really beautiful to have my Seg sister on and my witchy sister on to talk about it, even though it was a heavy topic. I do believe that these conversations need to be had, whether they're heavy or not, because you're always going to get some giggles, some cries, some everything. And those are kind of my favorite episodes where every topic can have all sides to it, right? So let's look at all sides, all possibilities, and come together. So another beautiful episode, 227, with Holly G, being real about losing a parent. And then another amazing episode, guys, a mother-daughter duo episode, 228, being real about topical steroid withdrawal with Adriana and Shamra. And you guys, another amazing episode, 2 powerful women, 1 mom, 1 daughter. And basically, long story short, girly got right off the bat, got given steroid cream, right off the bat, misdiagnosed for several years, going through massive amount of pain, massive amount of gaslighting, testing, allergy, medication, more steroid withdrawal, not knowing what it was, to finally figuring out what it is, and the recovery from going through that for the last 7 years and where she is now. And again, super honest, real conversation about the dangers of pharmaceuticals, about not having informed consent, misdiagnosis, and just not listening to your patients. All in all, I don't think Sharma was listened to as much as she should have been, especially, I know she was a child, but she obviously knew what was going on with her body, and people were just gaslighting, and then all of a sudden trying to act like Adriana was some sort of abuser when she's just doing what's best for her kid, and she's being lied to and being given the wrong stuff. So amazing episode with them, episode 228. I highly suggest it, especially if you have a child maybe that does use steroid cream and you're wondering why they're not getting better. Not saying everything is, but it's a good idea to be informed, right? Because they weren't. And then we end this season with end guest season with 229 with my girls Darian and Bree, book ending this season. Again, I love it so much. We talk about being single and dating and our experiences with both, again, in different seasons of our life. So starting the season with relationship talk with the girlies, more in friendship, and then ending it with more romantic relationships and our different seasons, whether that's our current or when we were growing up and all that. I spill a lot more about my love life in that episode. So do the girls as well. It was really beautiful to see, again, all of us from different parts of BC, grew up completely different, but have commonalities and differences in our stories. And then we go to episode 230, where if you are not watching the YouTube channel, I kind of take everything from the Diddy episodes from all of the 2 months that I had been covering it and do a synopsis, pin those all together. So that's episode 230, super long episode, but it kind of gives high level of every week that I was covering it. And then 231, we close the season with an episode very similar to this, just going over the season, the wins, the losses, all that kind of stuff. I know these aren't necessarily the most crazy episodes, but it is nice if you are new. I always want to kind of direct everyone to this season opener or close, so you can kind of understand what's coming, what happened. So if you want to know where things are, you can always go to these episodes and kind of see what this season's like, especially if you're looking for new episodes. If you just listen once a week, you can go back and historically listen. I know when I find a creator for the first time, I want to go back. It's nice to have kind of a library. So if you're ever looking for a season library, go to the season openers or close, and they'll give you a synopsis of the season, and then you can go back and listen to any of those episodes. But I think that's good. I think I wrapped it up. Talked about my summer, how it was amazing. I'm looking forward to the fall and winter. As much as I absolutely hate winter, I'm going to try and trick my mind and gaslight myself that I'm excited, because I actually have a lot coming up, and I'm very excited for season 10. And this very much helps with season depression and keeps me focused and doing something positive when it is super cold outside, because very soon you're going to see me go from this tan color to a see-through color and back into warm sweatpants and clothes. But I'm so excited that you're here if you are listening, and I appreciate you guys again so much. Season 10 is going to be another amazing season of good, real talk, authentic conversations, everything that you have hopefully come to love about this show. And like I said, if you want to hear more from me and want to hear more about politics and pop culture, you can find me on YouTube at the Be Real Babe Show over there 2 times a week. But I'm going to shut up, guys, and let's get into this amazing season. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week in the next episode, guys. Bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. I truly appreciate the support. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please follow the Be Real Babe podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Rumble. You can also find me at the Be Real Babe podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Until next time, guys. Bye!